Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we are diving into the absolute game-changing ideas from the book Crucial Conversations. We're going to give you a practical toolkit for those high-stakes discussions, the ones that can really define your relationships and your career. No, really, just think about that for a second. What if you could walk into any high-stress conversation about a promotion, a problem with your partner, even that awkward thing with your neighbor, and know you were going to handle it well? These moments can literally change the course of your life, and today we're laying out the skills to make sure they go the right way. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to nail down what a crucial conversation even is. Then, we'll get into the fascinating reason our brains seem hardwired to fail when the pressure's on. After that, we'll explore a much better way, get our hands on some practical tools, and finally, figure out how to turn all this good talk into real action. All right, first things first, let's get on the same page and define exactly what we're talking about. What is it that makes a conversation truly crucial? It's this perfect storm of three things. Number one, the stakes are high, meaning the outcome really, really matters. Number two, opinions differ, so you're not starting from the same place. And number three, because of those first two, emotions are pretty much guaranteed to be running hot. It's any conversation that has the potential to change things in a big way. And here's the thing, these conversations are absolutely everywhere. We're not just talking about big corporate negotiations. This is the stuff of everyday life. It's talking to your partner about money, giving your boss some tough feedback, or even dealing with that coworker who just isn't pulling their weight. And here is the kicker, the central paradox of it all. The more a conversation matters, the less likely we are to be any good at it. We're at our absolute worst, right when we need to be at our absolute best. So, what is going on here? Why do we stumble so badly when it counts the most?
Well, believe it or not, a huge part of the problem is our own biology. It's not totally your fault. You're literally up against millions of years of evolutionary wiring.
The second your brain senses a high-stakes social situation, bam, it hits the panic button. Adrenaline floods your system. Blood gets rerouted away from the smart, rational parts of your brain and sent straight to your muscles. Your body isn't getting ready for a nuanced debate. It's getting ready to either fight a predator or run for the hills. This quote from the book just nails it. In the very moments that demand our most sophisticated thinking, our brains basically get dumber. We're left trying to solve complex social problems with the most primitive parts of our brain. So with our smart brain offline, we get trapped in what the authors call the fool's choice. We think we have only two options. There's silence, where you just bite your tongue and say nothing, and there's violence, which doesn't just mean physical. It means arguing, controlling, and forcing your view. But here's the good news. There is a third way. And that third way, that game changer, is dialogue. It's the path skilled communicators take, and it's all built around one incredibly powerful concept. This idea of a pool of shared meaning completely flips the script. The goal of the conversation is no longer to win or to be right. The new goal is to get all the relevant information from everybody out on the table, because that shared pool is where the best, most creative solutions live. The bigger the pool, the smarter the decision. So the big question is, how do you get people to actually add to that pool? The answer, the magic ingredient, is safety. If people don't feel psychologically safe, if they're afraid of being judged or attacked, they will always go back to silence or violence. Your number one job in a crucial conversation is to make it feel safe. Okay, so theory is great, but how do we actually build that safety and make dialogue happen? Let's open up the toolkit and look at 3 foundational skills you can start using today. The very first tool is all about you. Before you even say a word, you have to get your own motives right. You literally have to stop and ask yourself, what do I really want here? Not just to win the argument, but for myself, for the other person, for the relationship. When you're clear on that, it changes your entire demeanor and helps you avoid that trap of thinking you have to choose between being honest and being kind. Think of this second tool as the emergency brake for your conversation. The moment you see someone getting defensive or shutting down, it's almost always because one of two things has happened. They either don't believe you care about their goals, that's mutual purpose, or they feel disrespected, that's mutual respect. The skill here is to spot it, pause the conversation about the topic, rebuild that safety, and then you can step back in. All right, this last tool, state, is your roadmap for sharing something difficult without making the other person blow up. You start with the S, share your facts, the things that are totally indisputable. Then T, tell your story. That's the conclusion you've drawn from those facts. Then, and this is so key,
You ask for their side of the story. You do it all by talking tentatively, and you encourage them to challenge your ideas. It's a recipe for being both honest and safe.
Now, a great conversation feels good, but if nothing changes afterwards, what was the point? It's completely useless if it doesn't lead to real results. And honestly, this is where most of us drop the ball.
The secret is to end every important decision with total clarity. Don't just say, okay, we'll work on that. Pin it down. Ask these 4 simple questions. Who is responsible for this? What exactly are they going to deliver? When is the hard deadline? And how will we follow up? This simple checklist gets rid of all the confusion and builds real accountability.
You know, this quote from Stephen Covey just sums it all up perfectly. It's one thing to hear all this and nod your head and think, yeah, that makes sense. But knowledge only becomes real when you actually put it into practice. These aren't just ideas, they're skills you have to build through effort.
And that's really the big idea here. Learning to handle these moments isn't some small tweak or life hack. It can genuinely transform everything: your career, your community, your family, even your health. Every difficult conversation you're facing is actually an opportunity to make a relationship stronger and get a better result.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a question to think about. What's one crucial conversation that you have coming up? Maybe it's at work, maybe it's at home. How can you use these tools, starting with heart, making it safe, stating your path, to change the outcome for the better? Because the power to transform that moment, it's completely in your hands.